call the meeting to order, and I want to take this time to thank y'all for coming tonight and welcome you here. I appreciate every one of you being here. We've got several things on our agenda tonight, but we'll go through them one by one, and as your time comes, we'll call you forward. This time, let's stand and do our pledge of allegiance. I'm going to ask Lynn People to lead us in that, and then Brother David Smith is going to come and just ask a prayer.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let us pray. Our Father and our God, we thank you for this time, and God, I ask that you would be with us, Lord, that we could meet together as a community, Father, and that we can build community, that we can share fellowship with each other. And Lord, for this meeting and this council that is gathered here in the mayor, Father, I pray you would protect their families, be with them and bless them, God. Lord, I pray that you would bless them for their efforts in leading this community. Father, for the administration, the city workers, Father, of Hamilton, and those that put themselves in harm's way for us, the police, the fire, and others, Father. God, I ask that you would be with them, that you would guide them, protect them, Father, as they carry out their duties for us. And Father, I pray that you would give this council and all of the leadership of Hamilton, Father, the vision and the boldness to do hard things and not what is politically easy. And God, that you would give us strength, Father, to do your will. And Lord, I pray for our community, God, that you would give us jobs, Father, and that you would bring us prosperity, Father, so that we can share what you have given with others, Father, who are less fortunate. Father, I pray that our schools, Father, would be protected, God, and that you would make them places where our children can learn, and that you would help this council and the mayor, Father, to further that mission of our schools, Father. And Lord, also we remember a community right now in crisis, Father, Midland City. And God, we pray for the families of those who are grieving. And Lord, for the child, Father, that is being held right now. We pray for his family. And Lord, we just ask that you would bring that situation to a peaceful end. And Lord, for our state and our nation, God, we ask that you would be with us. And Lord, that you would use leaders raised here in Hamilton to change our state and our nation. We pray this prayer in your precious name. Amen.
This time, I'd like to have a recommendation to approve our minutes from the last meeting. Y'all have a chance to look at that.
I'll make a motion.
Is that Lynn? Yes. Thank you, Lynn. Do I have a second?
Go ahead.
Okay, Tammy, thank you. Is there any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Next on the agenda is the recommendation to approve accounts payable bills. Have a motion to approve that.
I'll make that motion. I looked over this afternoon, everything's in order.
Okay, Francis, still have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, great. Thank you. Is there any discussion on those? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Next is a recommendation to change February 18th meeting, 2013 until February 19th, due to President's Day. The next meeting would be on the 18th, which is on a Monday of President's Day, but since we're off that day, school's out and city's off, we're going to meet on that following night on Tuesday, so on the 19th, so I have a motion to make that change.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, Greg?
I'll second.
Okay, Tammy, thank you. Any discussion on that? All in favor, say aye. Same time, 6 o'clock. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Next is resolution number 2013-2-4, as presented below. This is whereas the Marion County Elks Lodge 2684, located at 434 Country Club Road, Ewing, Alabama, has applied for 160 special retail, more than 30 days license. And whereas Marion County Elks Lodge 2684 has met all requirements as set forth in the ordinance of such license. This is a hearing for this. To go over this before we vote on it. So, do we have any comments hearing on this at this time before we go any further and proceed with it? What I'd like to get Mr. Chris Proctor to explain this special type license that it is and what it's for before we go any further. Chris, if you would, in case he makes any questions, Karen, council.
This type of license is a special retail liquor license for more than 30 days. It will cover the Elks Lodge with other special restrictions set forth. One of the special restrictions is that there will be no Sunday sales, there will be no off-premises sales. Anywhere there's alcohol being consumed or served, people under the age of 21 cannot be. So if there's something going on in their ballroom and there's some kids in there dancing and have a dance or whatnot, no alcoholic beverage can be served in that room, but where there other areas are, the adults could be having alcoholic beverages. And the other special restriction we have was no draft beer. We sat down and met with Elks Lodge and the police chief and other city officials, and we feel like this is probably the best fit for this location. That's kind of it in a nutshell. You know, got any questions, be glad to try to answer them for you. Also, the Elks Lodge, of course, would be subject to all other ABC rules and regulations and those with the special restrictions. And they will also provide us and the police department with the key for entry when they'll have to abide by our inspection privileges when we want to go do a walkthrough. And of course, they've been extremely cooperative during this whole process. Have no complaints whatsoever with them. They've done everything we've asked them to.
And the way that you mentioned it to us is they can't buy it there and take it out.
That's right. Everything must be on premise. There'll be no off premise. You're not allowed to bring your own beverages in, so they'll have to buy their liquor through ABC Wholesale, and they'll buy their malt beverages through the local wholesale suppliers.
And Bill, this has been resigned
Yes.
to the zoning board.
Yes.
Did the council vote on it?
Does the council have to vote on
I don't think so. We have. Have we voted on it?
No, but when the property is annexed in, the city accepts it as is, and it's automatically zoned to a residential or R1 district. But the argument with these businesses that come in is that that's the use that they are. That property may be now zoned R1 if they try to sell the property or went out of business. But our argument would be that it's something grandfathered in instead of current use, even though it may be zoned residential.
So it's okay to go on this tonight? Okay. Well, do we have a motion to approve this ordinance, resolution number 2013-2-4? Okay, Francis, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Yes. Thank you, sir. Is there any other discussion before we vote? Any comments? Okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
I am. I still have some unanswered questions.
Okay. Next is recommendation to purchase lunch for inmates for working in the city of Hamilton. This is currently working 5 inmates. This is something that we used to do in the past, but we did get away from this. And I'd like to put it on the agenda to talk about it and see if we can get it started again and be buying each inmate that works their lunch every day, which I don't think is much to ask for. They don't get that much, and it's pretty cheap labor. When you work 5 people, we could replace them for nowhere near what this would cost. And if there's any discussion on it, that's fine, but I'd like to have a motion to approve it. And then we can, before we vote on it, we can have some discussion. Is it?
We working them on days that it's not weather fit. I've been told some of them been checking out, and it's not weather fit to
I'd
come
have
out,
to
we're
ask
still
her.
paying for them when they come out.
Right. I'm assuming that they're working whenever they get them. I know they work here all day. And the street department only has 3. And I think the
The
red
one here at
county.
City Hall be different,
Right.
You're talking about outside,
yeah.
or like the street Street
Yes.
and Rick, or, well, Rick's not necessarily out.
Mm.
I know there's one out the road. Some kids over there are.
It's not gonna work.
I know I'd get tired of eating a cold cheese sandwich 5 days a week. And when you get the amount of work out of it, it's just a decent human thing, Christian thing to do is to feed them, at least. Care what they've done or whatever, I'm just too soft-hearted, I guess, but
This practice been stopped.
Years ago, we used to do it. I don't know when they got away from it. 'Cause I remember when me and you was on there a long
Yeah,
time
we
ago, we
did.
used to do it. I don't know when or how. It's been stopped for quite some time, I think.
Last administration,
Was it?
but prior to you coming on, it was prior to you.
we served them that
Oh, one
years
time.
ago.
I mean, this last time,
Oh.
it's prior.
Well, we need
One
to set
time
an
it
amount.
kinda- It kinda got out of hand.
Well,
Well, when we had
Money-wise.
a bunch
but
working.
that can be fixed.
I think we keep a close eye on that and try it for a while. Like I say, at one time, we had several, a lot more than we got right
So we're gonna put a dollar amount on it?
now. I'd say $6 or $7. I mean, that's about what average plate lunch costs. And we'll have to work it out with where we get them, that we can pay them like once a month, because you can't pay them every day.
How long do they work, Wade? They got a set time, is it?
They work, they get here pretty early in the morning. They go get them early in the morning and head back late in the evening. See, they work on a full day. I know in the summertime, they stay extremely busy. Street park keeps them extremely busy. I know at the rec they do too.
Ronnie, do you all not pick them up? I mean, it's just.
Yes, ma'am. We pick them up early in the morning,
Shandy's
just before 8, and then we transport them back between 4:30 and 5.
That's just the one here at City Hall, correct?
Yes, sir.
We'll have a motion to approve it.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Is there any more discussion?
Well, you know, with my motion, I'd like to do, excuse me, you know, I'd like to try it a while. I don't want it abused by any means, but I believe in feeding them, so we can try it, and if it's abused, then we can do something about that.
So are we gonna set an amount, or are you gonna check $7?
It should be, but more than that, it might be less.
And didn't before we, had like, well, not a contract, but an agreement that went.
We had some of the local cafes that work with us. We'd give them from like a month there, or a few weeks there, and pay them all at once.
Well, do they go there and eat, or do they
No, they
pick
bring
it up?
No,
They
we
pick it up
go,
and bring it to
yeah,
them?
no, they don't, we get, bring it to
Yeah,
them.
that's what I thought.
So it's gonna be a total of $17 a day per man.
No.
Set.
Well, I mean, we pay them work.
Right.
When they get that money?
State gets that money.
Goes into their account, doesn't it? Or the state?
No, state gets it.
Those not work, at least,
What are they?
community custody.
Well, we got a motion and a second, we're gonna vote on it. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Okay, thank you. Next, Mr. David Thornell. I've asked David to come and give us an update, the C3. And David, we appreciate you coming and giving us an update and letting us know what's going on in the Community Development Foundation. And we'll turn it over to you. I'm gonna give you a microphone, David, so people can hear you. Just turn it over.
I'm reaching.
All right, that's not too much feedback. I appreciate the invitation to be with you. Each year at this time, as we did last year, we like to visit with the mayor and council, present an annual report, tell you where we are, where we think that we're going. but we're not going alone. It's teamwork that makes anything possible, and we appreciate your support of the teamwork effort. And you do have a big team working for you. It starts right here with this council in agreeing to partner with the surrounding communities and county commissions, Marion, Lamar, and Fayette County, all a part of C3, and we are moving forward. The comment about, well, you see this guy out and about, I wish you didn't see me on the paper, with terrible pictures of it in the Wednesday paper last time, but so much of what we do is behind the scenes, and it's just the nature of the game. It's a business decision that is ever announced that job creation takes place. It's that business's decision where that they're going to locate. It's their decision how much of that they want to get out before they announce, but normally they don't like to announce it until all the i's and all the t's are crossed, and that that it helps them in terms of publicity, because they're normally trying to compete in a competitive market with their other companies that do similar things, and also to serve customers, maybe just get a little edge on others in that same line of business. So much of what we do is behind the scenes, and apologize for that. I do offer to you, and you have my card, and you have, of course, we're in the GUIN City Hall between GUIN and Winfield, and I'm in Hamilton every week, talk with the mayor often each week, and so there's no more secrets than are required, and that's just because these companies do want things to be quiet while they're making these determinations of what's best. I can say that we have active projects in Hamilton and several in the other counties. There'll be announcements soon. There are things that we're just working in the final stages to make happen. We have visits this week, visits tomorrow, as a matter of fact, in other parts of our area. I was calling some landowners today in Hamilton to work on a project. So it's exciting for me to be involved in that, but I think it's exciting for this community to be noticed, to be recognized, to be considered. And that's the first step, knowing that it's often the elimination visit. When you get that visit, that's important. You get them on your home turf. But to make things easy on themselves, they're going to find things and really zero in on things that maybe that they don't like, to get that number down to a manageable size of options for wherever they're taking that information back. And often, of course, in the final stages, we'll have the decision maker here, but often it's an advanced team. Often it's a consultant. It's a consultant that's extremely quiet about what they're working on, because the consultant was hired by the company to sign the confidentiality agreements, and often we have to sign those with the State Department of Commerce to not let news out about companies visiting. But the teamwork I mentioned starts here. It works its way through the other communities that believe in this effort. It's a funnel approach. You start at the top end of the funnel. You got more chances, more options that you're going to be looked at, but we want to be that one location that comes at the bottom of that funnel to be selected. And so with a regional approach, you're getting that call sooner than you would have if you were just a community. The best evidence of that in your packet is this, what makes a business climate good? And the question, of course, it talks about labor, it does talk about incentives, it talks about the educational, the quality, the dependability, the quantity of the labor. But here I'm just showing you the first page from Site Selection Magazine. It's one of the most read magazines in the business of economic development. It's based in Atlanta, Georgia. The managing editor of Site Selection Magazine was in our county in Hackleburg after the storm because of the VF story. But they're in just asking consultants, who do you contact first? You'll see that the state level was 25%, and then the regional level was, or the state level was 75%, the regional level was 25%. There was just nominal, to the point that it's not even marked, you'll see on this chart, of where a community was called first. And the reason why, as I said, that it's just a case that they're looking on a map of the world, they're looking at a map of a nation, they're looking at a map of a state, they're looking at a map of an area that says within that state, we can reach our customers best, we can serve our customers best. We can also the furnish supplies and the supplier network that takes place to make a value-added type manufacturing company successful. This is tough work, competitive work, because everybody else wants the same things that we want. And we have to distinguish ourselves in ways that maybe we didn't even think about. Each project's different, and companies, as they look at locations, are going to decide on their terms, not ours. We may brag about things that we love about this place, but it's not even important to their bottom line. We're going to show them around, and we're going to say, look at this great house, great schools, great looking community, our lovely hills, our great looking industrial park, that you have a beautiful industrial park. But they're going to see similar things, and maybe things that they're weighing in their minds of being just a little bit better than what they saw here. It's got to be the toughest job. My work is tough, but theirs is tougher because they've been told by the people that they saw before they got here and the people they're going to see after they leave here, ours is the best place. I don't know why you're looking any further. We've got the very best place for your business. And you'll get days work for days pay, so labor quality is great, and quantity is there. The community is going to support you, and all those things on and on that sort of sound alike. That sound like what the last person told them, the next person will tell them. So what you'll see in these consultants visiting is that you do have a breakdown, many pages that will ask you to fill out and submit about a community, about your site, about your labor force, about your education, and all those things that come into play. So then you do know, out of all these pages, that we're going to hit the things that they're looking for. But then they're going to compare them, and they're going to get back to us later. And one thing about this economy is that companies, even that have looked, are undecided. Not that they've decided against Hamilton or our area, but they're undecided about when that they need to make that announcement. So we are in the running for things that we were working on 2 years ago, last year, and that those companies have just not decided. But we're going to continue to stay in touch with them and let them know that we're still interested in them, and we still feel we're the best place. Forget what they heard at the last stop, forget what they heard at the next stop. So we're working for you, and of course I know you're working. You've got a great product in Hamilton. This community has a really bright future, and if we can just accept that it's coming, we don't know when, and we can't promise exactly how that'll shape up, but if we all do our part, we're going to be successful because we planned for it. We knew it was going to happen, and we're going to make it that way by what we do each day. So I commend you for being in elected office. I know many of you are new to this office, or maybe returning to the office, and it's a very important commitment on your part to be a part of this council and the city leadership, and we appreciate being in your economic development department. I'm available at any time. I don't have an office here in City Hall, but I am your person that you would call and just put the burden on my shoulders, say we hired a professional and he's doing that. And then when we get to the final stages, we're going to ask you, because they're going to ask you for a lot. We're going to say, can you step up and do this little bit extra that you maybe didn't even plan to be asked for, but they're going to ask you for a whole lot of help. And then that's when you know that you're in the final stages and that you're competing with other communities, and you get to know the company, you get to know their plans, and even who your competition is. We never sell from a negative point of view. We talk about what's positive based on the others, because we're going to find out about them and what they don't have that you do have. We're going to brag about what you do have. And so we're going to continue to work together and move forward, and the best indication that things are working, and we hope this economy will turn around so that things will move more rapid. But the Journal Record back in, this was January the 2nd, was an article about the jobless rate had dropped. It was over a percentage in November. But if you look behind that annual report, there's a handout from our annual meeting. We appreciate you attending our annual meeting. This 2013 regional profile, and you'll see that it dropped again in December, after dropping from last December, after dropping from the previous December. Things are getting better, folks. And that kind of talk doesn't make it very far in the coffee shop, because it's easier to be a critic than to compliment. And so I hope that you'll be the one that will lead folks in the direction of saying things are better. It's already occurring. And that we are going to have a lot of new opportunities in this new year, and I would be happy to answer any questions about that annual report. I have often, in writing for different magazines and different things, I just like to write. I wrote too much. It's about 12 pages. The final pages of that annual report, though, is other members of our team. Our current chair is Don Bussey, our board leading this team, and then our treasurer, Gerald Terrell, from just up the road. So two from Marion County. Susan Burroughs on our board. Bill McCreeless is a member of our board. And we have a good board, a good group that you should talk to and get to know and stay in touch with. But definitely stay in touch with us and our office, and through the mayor, we're going to make sure that we do stay in good touch. The mayor called me Friday afternoon. I guess it was fairly late. And he's a little bit different. Bobby Holiday, who is, of course, in this position, would call and, well, I read the obituaries, I didn't see your name, and what you up to? Mayor Williams, as fellows usually say, well, what are you up to? And we're always happy to talk about that, because we're moving forward, trying to make things happen. We don't create jobs, we try to stimulate job creation. So you find people that have the money to invest, and they have a need in whatever their product line is, and employing people. And it's fun work, it's rewarding work, and you can see that parking lots are full of the business that maybe they weren't full before, or new buildings being built, and good positive economic activity is what we're all about. So we don't do it alone, we do it together. And I thank you. If there's anything else I could.
I appreciate you coming, David. Each time that we've talked, you've always got back with me right away. And if you don't answer the phone, you call me right back in a few minutes.
I feel guilty if I missed you.
I mean, it's,
We have,
you've kept me informed of what's going on, and whatever we need to be doing, you just tell us what we need to be doing. I know we had some consultants looking at our park the other day. What kind of comments did they have on that?
we'll have the written feedback within a week or two. This was just a part of our strategic plan that we started last year. Has, in that plan, we thought, why don't we get a third-party objective outside opinion, that expert from 50 miles away. If you carry a briefcase with a newspaper and brick, that's even better. We did have a expert in. He's a consultant from York, Pennsylvania, that was a part of the ThyssenKrupp deal. He's a part of there's a pharmaceutical company in Opelika that this guy led, now PharmaBite, that was one of the big announcements last year. So he's been to your park, he's been to 9 other sites in our area, and we just said, take a look at this. Does it match our target industries? Our target industries are automotive, their distribution, warehousing, of course, being on the interstate. It's metal fab, which we have a strong contingent of companies in metal fabrication, and then other vehicles. There's so many other vehicles that are built and that do require lots of suppliers to build other vehicles. So we came in and said, do you like our sites? If you don't like them, tell us why. What do we need to make them even better? That if you were bringing a client on your next trip, the things that you would like for us to have ready to make sure that we weren't falling short, that we weren't being knocked out of the contention. And I think we're going to get some good, honest feedback, just strengths and weaknesses, and then the other thing is recommendations. And I don't think that there's going to be anything, there'll be more bragging points than negatives on the sites. While he was here, we looked at both the Bedford Park and the park on the interstate.
What impressed me the other day at Winfield at the annual meeting, and several of us were there, was that the speakers were at the top from the state, and I felt that for a number of years, we up here in Northwest Alabama had sort of been left out somewhat. We just weren't getting anything. You'd hear of it over in East Alabama, Northeast Alabama, South, wherever. But I had the feeling then that, and I know a lot of that is due to your hard work, and we appreciate you, David, but they came and they spoke, and to me, I said, well, we're on the map. They know where we are in Northwest Alabama now. So I've just got this feeling that, like you said a while ago, that we're just on the edge and the verge of moving forward. It's just getting all those things to come together. So We appreciate what you do there, and that was a very informative meeting.
A lot of things do have to fit, and that teamwork, again, that was stressed at that meeting, is that there are people that are out big pushes for us outside of this area. The Department of Commerce, the Economic Development staff at the Alabama Power Company. So it's a matter of, can we just all keep our eyes and ears to the ground? You may come across great leads, and don't ever discount who you know and what they're and who they know. It's it's one of those just connection type of things that make a small world. And we have had many prospects generated just from people that have heard something. Let me go track that down, and I'll dig up and see what I can find out. Because there are people like those folks in the state that would know if there's actually something going on. And so just to get our name in the hat does require that you know those people, they know you, and that was nice that they came and spoke about the fact that they know we're here.
Do you know anything about the Welcome Center, or who's working anywhere with that, or is that mostly the state, but aren't they connected to you?
It's the state project, of course. Concepts, of course, been drawn, it's beautiful. I had planned, and we, around the holidays, had a meeting scheduled with ALDOT, and it was canceled. They wanted to reschedule. My case is just that that's going to be a great place for us to market this area as people come into
I mean, the acreage
Marion
was
County.
it, I heard 2 or 3 different figures on the acreage.
Yeah, and it's,
approximately.
well, I don't know. Let's see, we haven't met with ALDOT yet. I've just seen the drawing.
But it's quite a big area.
It will be. Yeah, and of course, I'd love to see then that folks come here and they not only see the brochures and everywhere else, but it's really a prominent way to show off Marion County in this area. So that'll be a plus for us, it sure will. 9 exits the first almost 40 miles of this new highway. The consultant that we mentioned a while ago that looked at the sites, and I saw him at another meeting where he was speaking about Alabama, and he had on his map I-22, and he said, when we're sitting up in Pennsylvania, we and others like us in our business don't recognize that this is an operable interstate. So now he's driven quite a bit of it. So things like that, it's just planting seeds each day that would make a difference maybe tomorrow or the next day. So we're doing those things. It's through the strategic plan where we started just in choosing our target industries, but it's gone a lot further to other ways that we can work together. Regional chamber council, the council is very active and always at those meetings. We have an existing industry roundtable that meets so that we know each other in terms of existing industries across the 3 counties. And we're going to have a subcommittee of that one this year just to connect the industries with the educational community, because those folks need to be talking and knowing what type of skills helps us there. Susan's on the board, and then Max Weaver from the Fayette campus is going to co-chair that.
Thank you, Dave.
All right, let's keep going.
Appreciate you coming. Okay, next we have I had but the signs for the C3 industrial park, what we did was, Wade Nixon had been talked to me for about a month, and he sent me an email the other day of some signs that we could purchase, the city could purchase. It's 2 signs at $450 each to be put into the industrial park on I-22. So I just want to get permission to buy those signs. We're going to get those, they're going to get them put up, we're going to pay for them. There'll be 2 signs showing the industrial park for C3, showing the property for sale. And it looks kind of like that. I'll shoot you an email of it going to, you can see it. But we don't have any signs there when you come across. It's just a good way to advertise your park, letting people know that there is industrial park there and there's land available. So I'd like to get that approval for that. And also, C3 is going to buy 1 sign that's replacing the sign that's been there for years when David Thornell was here with the Community Development Foundation. That sign's pretty old, and they're going to purchase that themselves. And that's for $1,200. We just need to give them permission to put it there. And David's aware of that sign. So if you don't care, I'd like to have a motion to approve these 2 things. to get the signs at the industrial park. Okay, great, thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Lynn. Is there any other discussion on that? All in favor, say aye. Okay, thank you all very much. It'll look a lot better when we get those new signs there, especially replacing the old one that's been there for several years. This time I'd like to ask Melanie Winsett to come and talk to us. And Melanie, I'm going to let you use this mic too so they can hear you. I'll turn it on for you. It's already on.
Sure, I've got a few things unprepared. Just as what I'll be talking about, so you can have it. Well, I would have
Thank you for coming tonight.
Yes, yes, that's right.
Here you go.
Okay. Well, first of all, I want to start by saying who I am. I'm Melanie Bikes Winsett. I'm a native of Hamilton, class of 92. And I'm married to Shane, who is a native of Hamilton, class of 88. Sorry, thank you. But we are the owners of Reruns for Wee Ones. It's a family consignment sale that has been going on since the fall of 2000. And for the last 7 years, we have been renting the recreational center. And that's twice a year that we rent it, in early April and early October. Always working around, there are certain reunions that happen every year, and I always work around those to make sure that my dates fit in, and there's always space for that. But it's a sale that allows people to bring their used merchandise in, and they bring it to me. I organize it, sell it for them, and then with that, within the week, they are able to pick up a check for 70% of their sales. With that, I pay rent, and here's why I'm here today, is when I called to schedule my dates, as I've done for every year for the past 7 years, I call and I schedule the dates, and Larry told me, he said, well, I can't tell you for sure because there's some discussion, some debate, and the problem that was faced was that there was a substantial rate increase and that I would not be able to schedule it for the fall. So I said, well, what do I need to do? Because, I'd like to be able to schedule it. And he said, just call, get on the meeting. And so that's what I've done. I've prepared for you just a list of things to let people know about Rerun Sale, just in case you didn't know that. But we collect, because I rent a building, we collect sales tax. So for all the years that I've been doing it, we've collected sales tax, and I gave you a total of the sales tax to date. And keep in mind, we're only open 8 days a year. So 4 days in the spring and 4 days in the fall. And then 70% of that gross income, and I think this is the biggest benefit for the city, is that money within a week and a half is put right back into the economy. And if you know the number of people, if you've ever seen the parking lot, the number of people that come through, I know that I send out over 2,500 mailers inviting people to come into the area. I have sent out 900 emails that go. So I have a substantial mailing list that I reach out, and I have people coming from Northport, from Mississippi. I have tons of people from Mississippi who come in, and some of them come 3 times. They come to drop off their items, they come to buy, and then they come to pick up. So with that, I think that generates a fair amount of potential for gas sales, food sales. I know that many of them say, well, where's a good place to eat? And so I try to share those. And I know that while I'm in here during those times, I provide food for my workers. So, which those are volunteer workers. We have over 60 people who volunteer to work to be able to shop early. But I wanted to let you know that we have also, through the years, paid several $1,000s to the gym to rent it. And we are the highest paying as far as taking up the amount of time. We do pay the most for it, and we're the only one who collects sales tax. So we're the only one who generates money for the city, even though we do rent it and rent it. Also, I purchase a business license every year, so we have a City of Hamilton business license, and also I never wanted to put the city at a risk, so I carry a substantial amount of insurance, liability insurance through my business. I think that's only fair that I do that. I would never ask for someone to, because I'm in their building, to take that part. I've already talked about the 2,500 people who are invited to come to the city, and that has happened. I mail them out every time, so that's twice a year they're invited in. Okay. And then this is something that, unless you know and know my heart, but during the sale, there are people who come through who we see may have needs. Also, the school may call and say, hey, we have several people who need coats, who need shoes, whatever. DHR has called and said, we just got an infant, we need a baby bed, and we take care of those people. So just know that we have reruns, our family has been generous in that, and if there's ever a need, we never let that stand in the way of them getting what they need. At the end of the sale, all of the leftover merchandise is donated to Eldridge Children's Home. They come, and last time it was 3 entire truckloads that they took. So it goes to a good cause. So my reason, I guess, I just wanted to tell you a few things about the sale, because many people aren't aware of it. Then again, there are lots of people who are. So I just wanted to let you know about that. And I do, there is a disadvantage to having the sale, and I have acknowledged that. I realize that it does tie up the gym for the 14 days in the early part of April and the early part of October. And again, trying to work around what I've looked at is that those are off seasons for indoor sports. So during April would be baseball, and during October would be football still. So I just wanted to list that and acknowledge that I understand that as a concern completely. So just to reemphasize, I believe that reruns has been a benefit to the city, not only to the city in tax dollars and just exposure, but also to the families here. And I think that you could get a good number of people who say, yes, they enjoy coming to it, they look forward to it, and they enjoy the sales from it. So I'm here just to ask if I could continue to rent the building for the specified dates, again, following all the rules. We have maintained a very good rapport with the staff of the rec center, and I called and I said, have I done anything? Is there any? No. Just do what you're supposed to do, go and present it to the council. So that's why I'm here today. So
I'm glad you came, because I know my family, wife's been coming to reruns ever since you've been there.
right, and actually we started out in one building, in one little room. We started out and had 25 consigners, and now we have over 300. So God's been good, and it's been good. If you look at the numbers and all, we have anything available that you need. So
I think it gives us a better opportunity to not only meet you, but see what you do, because I knew what you did.
you've seen the work.
I've been there every year just about, so, if any of the council members got any questions, we can ask you now. And if we decide to let you go ahead and come in October also, we can let you know that pretty quick,
Right,
the next couple of weeks or so.
Sure.
So if any other council members got any questions, now would be the time to ask.
Is that the problem, the October the 5th through the 18th?
I think that it was just any problem. I think that, from my understanding, it was that it would be okay to go ahead and do it now, since it's what I had already planned on just for the spring, but the fall sale couldn't be, and then from here on out, I couldn't do it, is what my understanding was. Is that from...
I was thinking about it now, Tim, but I'm glad she came to explain to all of us, what's been going on, so we can get a clear picture of what it generates for Hamilton. If we still want to do it. The thing it was keeping the building tied up for like
Right.
a month.
I don't think it was that. We
Wasn't
didn't
anything
come
personal.
back. It was just, we wanted to look at it.
Right, absolutely. And
It wasn't
I
nothing
acknowledge
personal.
that
It's
in that.
like,
If you were told you couldn't come back, that wasn't what was said.
No, that was not at all. Not at all. It was about not being able to because of the amount of time. That was what was expressed to me, and so that's what I wanted to make sure that I address. I understand that it is a substantial amount of time, the 2 weeks, the 14 days in April. But like I said, I know that I think it's Gravel Springs has a reunion, and then there's one family that has a reunion, and they haven't even called to schedule it yet, but I've already told Larry, if I get that time in the fall, go ahead and work it around so that I do not interfere at all with things that we know will come in. So I want to be accommodating, and I do want to say, none of the daily senior activities are affected by this at all. None of the rooms, they have their specific rooms and their areas that, that they continue to use.
So it's 7 days in the spring and 7.
No, ma'am, it's 14 days in the spring and 14 in the fall. And with that, I know that in the fall, that, I think it's October 5th that I have, they normally, you get a rent from that particular reunion that's that day, and I pay a rent for that night, but I pay the full amount, for that night. So, does that make sense? I wait till they get out, they leave at about 1 o'clock, and I move in after that. So, again, trying to be as understanding, and I will say that Larry has been he says, I'm not going to treat you any differently than I am anybody else. If there's something scheduled, we won't knock anybody out of the way. And so and he's always been that way, and I've had to, work around some things before. So, and I appreciate that. I always want to be treated the same as others.
So you're only dealing with the gym, not the other room?
There are three other rooms involved, 3 other rooms that are down the hallway that are involved, but not the ones that are occupied by the seniors. Right.
What's the hallways?
Only during the sale. The hallway's only during the sale, and that's when that wouldn't be open. The stuff in the hallway, it comes out during the sale, which is a Thursday night from 6 till 10, and then a Friday, during that day. But the seniors are on one end. The end of the rec center that is not used by the seniors, it's only used by the quilting ladies on Tuesday, I believe it is. Yes, it would be
Yeah,
this.
we're doing the doors to the left.
Right. And I think they only occupy it on Tuesdays, and we don't have things there for, during that time. But during the sale, yes, we do have some things in the hallways.
I don't see what problem, we want people to come town and spend money. I don't see no problem with it, so.
Well, the question was just keeping it tied up for a month, and then, and it wasn't a problem. It was just like I say, it wasn't nothing personal. We just wanted to know
Exactly.
how much has been paid, and,
Right.
was we charging too much or not enough? And we adjusted some of those
Right.
just a couple of weeks ago. They hadn't been adjusted in years and years and years.
Exactly.
So, that might be a little issue, but,
You don't have a problem with adjusting the price?
Well, the last one, I would like to, be able to talk about the price because it was tripled. But I do understand that that it had not been increased in a while, so I do understand that. So if we could, all I'm asking is just to be treated fairly and considering the benefits and all of that, weighing that to be considered, for that to be considered, that's all I'm asking is just to be considered fairly, just to be given a reasonable rate. And if so, like I said, I haven't checked to see, I know in April it's baseball season, but I don't know who that is knocking out of coming to the gym. You see what I'm saying? I don't know
Right.
during April or October because it is still football season.
There's kids go to there every day after school, shoots,
Okay,
no matter what season it is.
okay.
It's going on right now, I'm not sure when it ends.
Basketball should be over by April.
Do you do this another time?
No, this is, no, I have, this business started as when I became a stay-at-home mom, and we just wanted to generate a little extra, and it's taken years to build to this point, as any business does, usually, and I teach full-time, and so now, I come down and run the sale. There are ladies who help out and that kind of thing, but it is, that's just what we do. No, it is not in another town, it is in this town only, so.
Well, can we let her know something?
as soon as we get a chance to talk about it, it'll be fine. I can let her know in a couple of weeks.
That's fine, if you would, just
Yeah,
because I have a website and I have to get all the printing done and all that kind of thing, if,
So the first sale is no
the
problem,
first-
you already
okay.
got that lined up.
okay, I can do that. And then about the rate, if we could
Yeah, I'll talk
come,
to
you
you,
know,
I'll give you a
about
rate.
that. And then for the fall, if this, you know, if we can
Right.
come to an agreement on that, that would be great. The sooner the better, so that I can go ahead and post it. So, well, I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Great. I didn't do that. No. Okay. Number 10, a recommendation to approve payment of $75 per employee to Boyette Health Services or Hamilton Family Medical Clinic for the City of Hamilton full-time employees who request to receive hepatitis B vaccinations. This consists of 3 shots. Jan, I may have to get you to explain this a lot better than I can, but you checked on this today and called several people, insurance folks, and
Well, their copay is $25 for the hepatitis B shots.
It's on
It's
one
a
time-
series of 3
One-time copay.
and we ask all
For
employees
each-
not
for
only.
each
Shot,
time.
it's
It'd be,
a,
yeah, it costs
It'd be $75
$75 per employee to get vaccinated. And, I
That's
think there's
even if the
23 that
deductible's
have
met.
requested.
plus
Yes.
even if their deductible is met, it's still bad.
So they get,
See if their deductible's been met. It's 25
right.
per, per shot per employee 3 times.
I checked with our insurance, state employees insurance, because we have that wellness program. Thought maybe they paid for it, but they do not. And I checked with Workman's Comp, and they don't. I checked with the health department, and it's $37 a shot.
So what is the, you don't, we're paying the copay,
We're paying
and then the
copay.
employee has to pay,
No,
Their insurance.
no, like Dr. Kerr's office would take the Blue Cross, file it, and all they would have to pay, we would be paying the $25 that they would normally have to pay out of their pocket.
We're just paying the
So
copay for the employee.
Right.
their insurance pays for the cost of the immunization,
Right.
regardless of whether the deductible has been met.
Right, it pay all, the book said it's just a $25 copay.
Which is, a lot of those that work in the water and sewer and street need those.
Well, this is something that the
Just a
employee,
benefit to give an employee.
this is something that the employees brought to our attention
Right.
several mornings.
I think it's only fair, you know.
So the
On
20
behalf.
We bought it, we paid for them to be immunized in the past.
Okay.
They need to be protected.
Shoot, shoot.
So the $25 is the total cost per trip.
Right,
So
So
the,
they'll
so
cost
the
70
employees aren't gonna be out anything.
right.
Okay.
It'll cost the city $75 times however many
Right.
want to have it
Yeah,
done.
employees are not out either. It's just
As
a
my
benefit.
understanding, it's, you get 1 shot 1 month, you get another one the next month, and then you have to wait 6 months to get the 3rd one. It's a series.
So they can go to either of these places?
Yeah.
If you miss out on that, does it have to start all over?
I don't know. I sure wouldn't want to miss out and have to be
Well,
stuck
neither.
again with you.
I took them before,
But especially the garbage
Yeah,
people.
I work that some of them do.
The water
It's
department,
not much
working in
difference.
the, sewer,
that's.
police department, yeah,
Yeah.
there's several police
Several
officers
police
that
officers
requested.
requested it, so. And several in the water and sewer. So,
And I'll make a motion, we.
thank you, Tim, appreciate that. I'll second it.
Who was that?
Lynn?
Lynn, any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Next is the recommendation for the contract between the City of Hamilton and the Chamber of Commerce, which we have, I think I left mine in there. in the office. No, I got it right here. I got it right here. This is what we already approved in our budget. We just need a contract to make it legal. So Just because we got it in our budget, that doesn't mean it's, we need to do it for the agreement for services that they do, and they do an outstanding job, Marlon. We appreciate what the chamber does. They're always promoting Hamilton. I mean, always promoting Hamilton. Every chamber show around, they're there. Every meeting, economic development meeting, somebody's there. Somebody's here at every council meeting representing the chamber, taking notes, and they're a very, very active board, and all we're doing actually is just approving what we've already approved. So I agree with this contract.
Through emails, that's a great source of help.
How much is this about?
It's $13,250
$13,000?
Yes.
$250.
for a year. And that includes promotion of the following events: Jerry Brown Arts Festival, which is coming up very quickly, Chick-fil-A Leadership, Customer Appreciation Day, Shrimp Bowl, Miss Hampton pageant, related pageants, Bud Hatcher Fall Fest, Christmas Parade, St. Almond Square, and many, many other things that they do for the city of Hamilton. So, if y'all have any questions, Marla can answer them for us. She's here tonight if we need to address her. If you want to talk about it for a minute, Marla, before we go.
The only thing I think, the only point I really want to make tonight is that, as the mayor stated, this is basically for the events, promotion of the events, promotion of Hamilton, and the welcome packets. We're in the process of converting from paper onto digital type formatting. But the point I really wanted to make was this does not involve anything related to personnel.
Right.
Anybody that we hire will be strictly chamber, not affiliated with the city. So I just wanted to make that point.
Money's used specifically for promotion.
Specifically for the things in this contract.
Okay.
Has the past council, has this been going on, or has this been stopped, or what?
It's gone anywhere from 24,000 down to 12,000 down to zero. And we've basically been at zero for a year and a half. They're about, 2 years. So the things that we've done, with the exception of coming in specifically asking mayor and council for events, and it's really, this is in addition to helping us, it really takes a burden off of you guys, because we're not coming at every meeting and asking, okay, we need money for Jerry Brown Arts Festival, we need money for Chick-fil-A, we need money for, whatever event that is ongoing that we're promoting community. So, it's something that y'all have basically been doing, not per se in a contract, but it is something we've been coming event by event and asking for money. So that pretty well, helps eliminate taking up, time at individual meetings and just basically doing it at one time.
Just combines it all.
Combines it all.
Makes it a lot more practical.
Have a motion to approve this contract? Greg, do I have a second?
I'll second
Okay, any discussion? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
I abstain due to my affiliation with the board.
You're a board member. And Tammy does a great job too, I've been to some of their meetings. So, before we make a motion to adjourn or address anything else, Scott, I'd like to go in executive session for just a few minutes to talk to you about something. It won't take long, and we try not, because I know we've been here a while. But do I have a motion to go to executive session?
I'll make it.
Thank you. Have a second. Okay, Francis. It won't take long.
I'll make a motion to come back in.
I second.
Okay. Got a motion to go back in regular session. Tammy second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
I don't have anything else on the agenda. If the council members has anything you want to address, or anybody in the public wants to say anything.
I'm Mark Compassi. I'm from Key West End, out on the interstate. And I've prepared a lengthy sentimental speech, and I'm going to skip it and make things kind of brief if I can. First of all, I would seriously like to thank y'all for letting me speak without being on the agenda. A lot of places that's just unheard of. and I appreciate it. I appreciate the way you run your meeting here with a little bit of informality, and I appreciate it. Anyway, I'm here to talk about the lights at the intersection. The lights have been off at the intersection of exit 14 for a year now. And when I first came to town, I was promised interstate lights. Took 3 years to get them. And I finally got them. They were on for about a year. And they've been off for a year. There's 28 lights at that intersection. And 25 of them were off until I personally finally went out there and put my hand in that hot box and relit 14 of them myself. I have been asking several times over the last year to get the lights back on. I'm not here to insult anybody. I come in peace. But I'd like to say a few things about the lights. By the way, the water tower was out for a lot of that time. Rodney Williams got out there, got the water tower fixed. There were some electrical problems as well as some bulb issues, and Rodney got right on it and took care of it. I learned during the process that, as I understand it, I wouldn't swear this in court, I just get the hearsay, that the lights were under contract from a gentleman in Winfield, who I believe, and I'm not from here, so I don't know anybody like you guys do, but I believe was the mayor of Winfield. The same Winfield that has a billboard with one of my competitors. They jointly own a billboard that is in competition with me. Anyway, I've got 14 of the lights back on. There were, like I say, there were 3. I'd like to say that in the years that I've been here, we've paid $200,000 in lodging taxes. Most of that has gone to the city of Hamilton. I'd like to say that I estimate that these lights being out, and again, I ran for 3 years with no lights, even though I was promised lights from the very start by Ray Harper. I stood right here and discussed it one night 5 years ago. And anyway, once the lights came on, we saw an increase in business. I estimate from the difference in the lights and without lights that those lights being off have cost the hotel between $85,000 and $120,000. And that translates, I think, to about $6,000 to $9,000 in lodging taxes for the city of Hamilton. I'd like to see the lights get back on. I think that a year is enough. And I'd like to ask each one of you if y'all think that we can get the lights turned back on, or what do I need to do to get the lights turned back on at exit 14? Maybe the C3 man that was here tonight, one thing he could have put on his agenda was get the lights back on. That might help things at the intersection as well.
Well, I have called, and I did get lights on the street that you didn't have.
Appreciate it.
Several lights. And I have called about getting the lights on exit 14. I've called Mr. Silas, never got a call back. So I know it's took a while, I've only been here 3 months, but yes, sir, I'm definitely working on it, and I'll start calling again tomorrow if we have to get a different company, you know.
Well, I was speaking to him, we got to go through it again.
We don't. But I can get a different company to look at them. It is our responsibility to keep those lights on.
I go down there a lot.
And we had the police flag those lights just 2-3 weeks ago.
I flagged them till the flags rotted off.
Yeah.
I flagged them again and the flags rotted off. That's
When we
all I
come in
was
office this time, I got the ways, and I told him, I said, if I was traveling, I wouldn't pull off.
I wouldn't either.
I tell you what, if y'all will turn this over to me tomorrow, I'll have them on within a week. That's all you gotta do. Make a motion, turn it over to Mark, I'll turn them back. That's not funny.
I'm not
serious.
laughing. You call me tomorrow, come see me, we'll get them turned on.
Yeah, we need those lights on.
I agree.
I think we got shortchanged from the amount of lights from other towns when they was put up somehow or another. I don't know. I don't believe We've got as many as, it's just some of those out, how that is, I don't know.
Again, I'm not here to make an enemy with anybody. I appreciate all of you do. And I know that probably most of y'all may not even be aware of the light situation. You know, we're kind of remote out there, I understand that. But, I would like to have something tonight. Again, it's been a year. I'd like to hear something about getting the lights turned back on in a definitive manner if I could. I can't demand.
If you'll exceed in the morning, we'll get them turned on.
Appreciate you very much.
It is our responsibility
Yes, it
to
is.
right wait on those
It
interstate
is.
lights.
There is a contract that we have to keep those lights up. That didn't used to be that way. We do have to keep those, not all lights, but those on the interstate we do. It is in it, Jan. There's agreement made between, I think the last mayor and stuff, about, we're up to keep those lights up.
Is it just his quadrant of the intersection, or is it all up and down?
We've had, in the last, our police department flagged over 30-something, 40-some lights. We went to Alabama Power, they've been replacing all those lights in town, but we have to keep the lights up on the interstate.
At exit 14,
There's lights on all those places.
And we're paying for it.
And we're paying.
Not.
We're paying for them. You
Was
got
it not at one time they were trying to determine if it was state responsibility or city responsibility, and that was the bickering back and forth for a while, was it
I
not?
think that misunderstanding didn't last more than 2 or 3 weeks at the most.
Okay. well,
And as
I
I
knew
understand it, I've never seen the documentation, but I've talked to Miss Mayor Annette Shirley. And I think she told me that the agreement was that the city of Hamilton was contracted to keep them maintained once Alabama Power supplied them, or the state supplied them.
If you got a company you know, come fix them.
No, sir, but I bet I could find one tomorrow.
We'll find one tomorrow, call me.
I'm a mayor there, we'll get on that.
Yep.
Cause I don't like it down there, that's been and I told the last council about it.
Well, the
I
street
go
was
down there.
pretty dark, and I did get
That's right.
Alabama Power to do that.
And,
You wouldn't have had that, I just went to
Real
Alabama
well
Power. and
received. I appreciate you getting on that very much. We did at one time on the little street, the street's called River Road Drive, which is the drive off of River Road. It's got the Texaco station, it's got the Huddle House on it, and it's got me on it. And at one time, there were 2 burnout lights there that were burnt for probably 2 years, I would have to say. Same situation with those, I flagged them. Then surveyor's flags are designed to biodegrade. They finally biodegraded. I flagged them again. You have to flag them at night when they're obvious whether they're on or off. And I flagged them again, they rotted off as well. But finally, our new mayor did get those lights turned back on. I assume local power, the local
They did,
water.
and they added some.
That's exactly right, and we appreciate it very much. But if there's anything that we can do, I'll be in touch with you guys in the morning.
I'll be here about 9 o'clock in the morning.
Thank you very much.
Doctor wants to come see
Appreciate
you.
all y'all. And again, I
You
appreciate
done?
what y'all do. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. And I appreciate you coming. Because it's, I mean, a dark place, people keep driving.
Yep.
It's not, they don't feel safe, so. I'm sorry they haven't been done before. But we'll handle it. Anybody else? Have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion.
Have a second? Thank you, Francis. All in favor, say aye.